Good morning, class. Today we're going to analyze and record data using a bar graph. Does anyone know what a bar graph is? Good. Sarah says that a bar graph is a graph that uses bars. That's exactly right. A bar graph is a chart that shows bars to show comparisons between categories of data. I'm going to project on the board a picture of a graph that shows M&Ms, and the four categories are red, green, yellow, and brown. So we're going to compare M&M colors. Okay, I have a mug in my hand with M&Ms in it, and you can't look in it right now, but here's a graph on the board that shows what the colors are: red, green, yellow, and brown. Can anyone tell me which color I have the most of? Good. Sarah says that I have red. The most M&Ms in my cup are red. How did you know that, Sarah? Good. Sarah says that the bar labeled red is the longest. That's excellent. So, from my graph, can you tell how many M&Ms are in my cup? Very good. Sarah knows that there are 20 M&Ms in my mug. Sarah, how did you know that? Sarah knew to look at my bar graph and add up or combine the numbers of M&Ms I have in each category. Okay. How long is the red bar for my M&Ms? Good. Sam says that the red bar is 8. It reaches the number 8. So, what does that mean? What does it mean if the red bar reaches the number 8? Good. Sam says it means that there are 8 red M&Ms in my mug. Okay. So, now we've looked at the red M&Ms, now we're going to interpret what other information we know based on our graph. So, how many more red M&Ms do I have than blue? Good. Sarah says that I have 8 red M&Ms and 0 blue M&Ms. So I have 8 more red M&Ms than blue. Very good, Sarah. Okay. Now we're going to decide something else. This is kind of tricky. If I don't like red or green M&Ms and I decide to just throw those away, or I'm going to give them away, I'm going to give them to Sarah. So, Sam, if I give Sarah all of my red and green M&Ms, how many am I giving away? Good. Sam says that if I have 8 red M&Ms and 0 green M&Ms, then I'm giving away 8 of my M&Ms. Very good. Okay, Sarah has a question. She doesn't understand. So, how about this? If my dog can only eat yellow and brown M&Ms, how many M&Ms does my dog get? What do you think, Sarah? Okay, good. We're going to look at our graph and we're going to see that, let's see, if my dog can only eat yellow and brown M&Ms, he's going to eat, my bar graph says 7 yellow M&Ms, so I'm going to write down 7, and 4 brown M&Ms, so I'm going to write down 4. Okay, so if I combine yellow and brown, 7 M&Ms for yellow, 4 for brown, I get how many, Sarah? Good. 13. So, no, 11 M&Ms, 7 and 4. So that means my dog can only eat, he only gets 11 M&Ms. Does that make sense? Good. Okay. Okay, if I actually like green M&Ms and I want to have as many green M&Ms as red, how many green M&Ms should I put in my mug? Okay, so let's think. I want to have the same amount of green as red. So how many red M&Ms do I have? 8. Good. And how many green do I have? Let's see, my graph says 6. Okay, so if I want to have the same red as green, I need to, what do I need to do, Sam? Good. Find out how many more green I need to get to red. So if I already have 6 green, I need to count up to 8 red. So I have 6 green, 7 green, 8 green. Okay, I need to get 2 more green M&Ms in order to have the same amount of green M&Ms as red M&Ms. Very good. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you each 8 M&Ms, and on your tables you're going to find graph paper, and we're going to make our own bar graph based on how many M&Ms you each have. So you're each going to have different colors of M&Ms. So on your graph paper, I want you to draw 2 axes, X and Y, and we're going to draw that, and I want you to label the vertical axis, that's the one that's going to go up. We're going to label that one numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you're going to see a modeled version on the board. See how it's labeled at 1 through, mine is labeled 1 through 8. I want yours to be 1 through 6. And then on the bottom, I want you to draw I want you to write out colors of M&Ms. And we're going to count how many of each color M&Ms you have. Okay. As you're working on this, I'm going to be walking around and making sure that everybody is staying on task and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, I'm walking around and I notice that Sarah has added her red M&Ms incorrectly. She thought she had 6 M&Ms, but she really only has 5. And she drew her bar graph to show 6 red M&Ms, but that's incorrect. So I'm going to tap on Sarah's shoulder and I'm going to say, Sarah, will you count with me? Let's recount these red M&Ms. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I point to a graph and I see how many M&Ms did you record? And she's going to see that she recorded 6 and she's going to say, oh dear, and she's going to start erasing and correct it. So I'm just going to tell Sarah, you just need to slow down a little bit and make sure that you have your correct information, but you're doing great. And then I'm going to keep walking around and I'm going to notice that Sam is working really hard and he's staying on task and being very diligent. So I'm going to reach over and give Sam a high five. Okay, so great job everyone. Your bar graphs look good. We're going to tape them onto the wall. So I want table 1 to come up and we're going to tape them onto the wall so that everybody can see your work. And table 2, y'all can go ahead and come up to grab a piece of tape. Good. Table 3, very good. And table 4, there's some space right over there. You can tape those up. Good. Okay. Okay guys, I need your attention. Today we learned how to organize our information and our data onto a bar graph, and we also learned how to analyze that information and compare it. So Sarah, I already ate all my M&Ms in my mug, but if I wanted to find out how many I had before eating them, can I look at my bar graph and find out? And Sarah says yes. So Sarah, how can I find out how many M&Ms I had total based on what's recorded on my bar graph posted on the board? Very good. Sarah says that I could add how many red, yellow, green, and brown M&Ms I had, and that's how many that I ate. Okay, Sam, I'm looking at my bar graph. Let's see. I'm going to look at Sarah's bar graph, and I can see that Sarah had 6 red M&Ms, and Sam, you had 3 green M&Ms and 3 yellow M&Ms. So Sarah had more M&Ms, right? Because she had 6. She had 6 red ones, and you only had 3 green and 3 yellow. Very good. Sam says that no, he and Sarah had the same amount of M&Ms, they just had different colors. Very good. So when we compare Sam and Sarah's M&Ms, even though they have different colors, they have the same amount total. Okay, so now we know how to organize our M&M colors, but when there are other times that we'll need to use bar graphs. Can y'all think of any examples? What about if the city wanted to find out how many children visit a public park each year? And I'm going to display this bar graph on the board that shows how many visitors came to the park in the years 1995, 96, 97, 98, 99. Okay, so guys, if we're looking at our bar graph and we see how many visitors are at the park, what year was the park most frequently visited? Think about that for a second. Look at the bar graph. Good, 1997. How did you know that, Sarah? Okay, Sarah sees that when we look at the bar graph, the year 1997 has the highest bar, which means that there were the most visitors that year. Okay, Sam, can you tell me which year was the park least visited? Good. Sam noticed that the smallest or the shortest bar was in 1995, and that means that the fewest amount of people visited the park that year. Very good. Tomorrow we're going to learn about taking surveys, and we're going to use bar graphs to record our collected data when it comes to surveys. So great job today!